I would certainly be in favor of allowing states to use the bankruptcy route.
Let's have a discussion about the HEROES Act and Mitch's failure to act on the bill passed by the House. But first, a shout out to our guest tonight, the AFL-CIO. Here's what they think about Mitch. In 2019, their rating of Mitch was 21%, and he has a lifetime score of 12%. In contrast, Congressman John Yarmouth has a 2019 rating of 100% and a lifetime rating of 98%. What is the acronym behind HEROES? The Health and Economic Recovery Omnibus Emergency Solutions Act. The Kentucky Center for Economic Policy has posted a compilation on the HEROES Act. The bill will provide the kind of substantial economic relief Kentucky and other states need in the face of the COVID-19 recession. The Senate must now join the House and agree to a relief package that adequately supports families, governments, and businesses through this crisis and sets the stage for a robust economic recovery when the pandemic is eventually behind us. Here are what major elements of the HEROES Act would mean for Kentucky. The Commonwealth will receive a total of $7.4 billion over 2 years. City, counties, and other governmental units would receive over $4.4 billion. As an example, my county, Harrison, would receive $10.6 million. The county seat, Cynthiana, would receive $3.1 million, and the second largest city, Barry, in the county, will receive $128,000. During Governor Beshear's COVID-19 press conference on July 22nd, he said revenues in the last 3 months have declined 8% and that the state faces a $1.1 billion shortfall for the current fiscal year without federal assistance.
The last estimate is that we have is almost a $1.1 billion shortfall in the year to come. Without federal assistance in either a new CARES Act, providing direct budgetary assistance just like they did during the Great Recession, or Congress changing one of the last CARES Act and giving us more flexibility to use past funds given to us directly in our budget, we will be looking at, I believe, the largest budget cuts in our history. Now, I hope that what happened in this last fiscal year has a chance of happening going forward, but we know what we face moving forward without federal assistance is really rough.
We will be looking at the largest budget cuts in our history. The AFL-CIO stresses that the House HEROES Act will provide long overdue relief for working people. If Mitch McConnell doesn't act, budget cuts will destroy the public services we need to recover from the coronavirus. The HEROES Act promises a second stimulus check of up to $6,000 for a family of 5, debt relief, student loan forgiveness, hazard pay, 6 more months of COVID-19 unemployment, housing and food assistance, and nearly $1 trillion in aid for state and local governments so they can pay vital workers like first responders, health workers, and teachers who are at risk of losing their jobs due to budget shortfalls. The HEROES Act also makes a change in the federal government's new Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses. The new proposal eliminates the requirement for businesses to use 75% of the money for payroll expenses, so small businesses could use the money as they please. Last week, Mitch finally decided to draft a Senate bill that will hopefully address some of these issues. Now both sides can negotiate the final bill, which will be markedly different than what the House sent to Mitch over 2 months ago. As of July 23rd, the Senate version is a $1 trillion bill as opposed to the House $3 trillion bill. I expect this means that there are no funds for state budgets. The most powerful man in the Senate does not care for his home state. Does he want the states to go bankrupt? His people suffer? So why is Mitch holding the HEROES Act hostage? Should it be about money for the people or money for Mitch and businesses? As always with Mitch, it's about the money. The United States Chamber of Commerce is pushing for liability protection for businesses. In the 2020 election cycle, the Chamber donated $21,400 to Mitch. During the 2020 cycle, the Chamber has given donations of over $350,000 to politicians and spent an amazing $77 million in lobbying. From 1998 to 2020, the Chamber has spent $1.6 billion on lobbying. According to Open Secrets, the Center for Responsive Politics, This is the most money ever spent by one group, ever. Don't you expect this buys a lot of support? The Chamber's number one concern is making sure there is liability protection for businesses. The Chamber wants to make sure businesses can do what is best for the business, not the employee. I understand this is a broad stroke and that not all businesses will take advantage of their employees. The draft proposal, authored by McConnell and Senator John Cornyn of Texas, proposes relieving businesses, schools, churches, and other institutions of legal responsibility for workers, customers, and others who contract COVID-19, except in cases of gross negligence and intentional misconduct, a difficult standard to prove in court. Should we get Aaron Brockovich on speed dial? As the Associated Press reported, the Republican plan offers a broad shield by requiring heightened pleading standards, stiffening burden of proof standards, and capping damages on awards. Employers would also be shielded from investigations by federal agencies. Additionally, McConnell and Cornyn's plan would empower companies to move coronavirus-related personal injury and medical liability cases to more business-friendly federal courts. Defendants are liable, the draft states, only if they fail to make reasonable efforts to follow applicable public health guidelines. Mitch has pushed the appointment of 190 circuit district court judges. Could you call this stacking the deck? The bottom line is pay to play. The Chamber has spent more money on lobbying than any other organization. Money talks or Mitch walks. I believe this must end. We need to ditch Mitch on November 3rd, 2020. Back to you, Aaron and Nate.
This partisan impeachment will end today.